If you're looking at buying a new phone, maybe the most important thing is how much storage does it have? I'm going to walk you through why I think you should buy the most storage you can get. This held 1.44 megabytes. I do wonder what's on here. Maybe Napster? I bought this thumb drive back in the day at 4 gigabytes. It was the most you could buy at the time. This is roughly for 1 hour, it's about 12 gigabytes of storage space. So let me give you 5 reasons why you need more storage space than you think you need on your next device. So if you're thinking of upgrading your phone to the next model, think about how much storage you're going to be using. First of all, number one, videos and photos keep getting bigger because they use more pixels, they use more storage, they have more data in them. And so today, the average photo on my phone is taking about 4 megabytes of space. So that's doesn't sound that big in the bigger scheme, but if you take a lot of photos, that really adds up. I shoot video right now at 4K with 30 frames per second. I have the capability to shoot 60, but it's just not as practical. So at 30 frames per second, I'm looking at 175 to 300 megabytes for 1 minute of video. Note that the new iPhone 16 Pro Max is going to be able to shoot at 120 frames per second. That's 4 times what I typically shoot at. Now 120 is probably not practical for everything you're going to do, but if you want to use that, you're going to need some storage. In my own case, I'm regularly shooting video of sporting events, youth sporting for an hour to an hour and a half, and that is taking roughly 12 to 20 gigabytes of space. 20 gigabytes of space is a pretty good chunk, and that really adds up in terms of how much you're going to have left over. Number two, the size of apps, the number of apps, and the storage that apps use is a huge problem on our phones. If you'll notice my own phone here, and the amount of space dedicated to apps is very large. And this is not just the size of the apps, which obviously is increasing as everything else does. Number three is the prominence of apps. And apps are really what our phones are designed to run with. Using a browser on your phone is typically not the easiest way to access things. Everybody wants you to use their app, and there are advantages many times to using those apps, but they have to be stored locally on your phone in order to really be useful. So you've got to consider how much space you're going to need to have an app for everything, an app for each thing that you order, an app for each store you use, an app for each game if you're a gamer, and for every functionality, Gmail and your other services. So in my own experience, I've been using the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I wish I'd bought more storage. More was available, but I chose to not purchase that at the additional cost. And now I regret it because I am constantly having to transfer data through external devices. Now, I love this device. It's a Samsung 1 terabyte SSD, but I have to use it way too much. It's very easy to use with the iPhone. You plug it in and move photos and videos, but I would rather not have to do it as often as I am currently, because if I had purchased more storage with my iPhone, I wouldn't need as much external storage. I'm trying to move away from storing in the cloud, trying to move away from paying fees to Apple and Google on the monthly and yearly basis. And so having personal storage is really, I think, where you and I both want to be going as we move forward. So consider just the operating system in terms of Apple, the iOS. So when you updated to iOS 18, you needed at least five, somewhere in the range of 5 to 15 or 17 gigabytes of space, depending on who you ask. And so if your phone doesn't have that space, then you are not able to upgrade to the new operating system until you make room. And so that's something to consider. You have to have extra space. You can't live at 1 gigabyte of free space on your phone, because your phone is just not going to be able to do what it needs to do. Number five is the future is uncertain. In fact, actually, it is certain. We know things are going to require more storage. We're going to see everything increase. Photos are going to be bigger, videos are going to be bigger, apps are going to be bigger. And so, whatever you think your storage needs are today, just remember it's going to be more next year and the year after that. I know a lot of us think we're not going to be using the same phone in a year or 2 years. But on the other hand, the value of that phone stays in place better the more storage it has. When you resell your iPhone in 2 years, the more storage it has on it, the more your resale value. So keep that in mind also. It's an investment in your future, not only in terms of not paying for extra storage locally or in the cloud, but by getting that extra storage personally, you're also able to resell a device that has more value down the road. So you look at iPhone 12, iPhone 11, those are still selling. They're still popular devices out there, but one of their big hangups is the lack of storage space available on those devices. So as you look for a new device, I hope this has been helpful just to think about a challenge. I've made mistakes and I hope to correct those in the future with the next things that I buy, whether it's a laptop or a phone. But in terms of storage space, you just hardly will ever regret buying more, but you will regret buying less. So hope this was helpful. So subscribe. I do more smart home and home stuff, also the iPhone and storage. There are other videos related to that. And if you'd like to like today's video, then hit the thumbs up. Thanks for watching.